New York's so-called bagel tax is usually told in one sentence: ask a shop to slice a bagel and the knife triggers sales tax. The current guidance from the New York State Department of Taxation and Finance says otherwise. Its food store bulletin lists a bagel sold by quantity as exempt whether it is whole or sliced. The taxable column begins when the bagel is toasted, buttered, or served with cream cheese. That single row overturns the viral version while preserving the genuinely strange part of the story. Small changes in preparation and the circumstances of sale can move the same bread between exempt grocery food and taxable restaurant food. This is not legal trivia invented for social media. The department publishes separate bulletins for food stores and restaurant-type establishments, and both describe how form, condition, quantity, packaging, and place of consumption affect the result. The correct question at the register is not simply whether a blade touched the bagel. It is whether the sale looks like an exempt grocery purchase or taxable food prepared and sold for immediate consumption. The restaurant bulletin explains the rule with 3 customers in a bagel shop. Customer 1 orders a dozen bagels to go. They are placed in a bag and the sale is exempt. Customer 2 orders a plain bagel and coffee to eat at tables inside the shop. That sale is taxable because it is for on-premises consumption. Customer 3 orders a toasted bagel with cream cheese and iced coffee to go. Both items are taxable as restaurant food, even though they will be consumed elsewhere. The examples show that quantity, location, and preparation matter together. The food store bulletin makes the slicing point explicit. A bagel sold by quantity, whole or sliced, appears in the exempt column. Toasted, buttered, or cream cheese topped versions appear in the taxable column. A plain sliced bagel sold to go can therefore remain exempt under that guidance. A plain bagel eaten at the shop can be taxable without being sliced at all. A toasted bagel can be taxable even if the customer walks straight out the door. The myth chose the most visible action, the knife, and ignored the legal framework around the transaction. New York generally exempts food and food products sold by food stores, including bread and other bakery goods. It then taxes important exceptions: heated food, food sold for consumption on the premises, food prepared by the seller and ready to eat, sandwiches, candy, and carbonated beverages. The policy tries to spare ordinary groceries while taxing restaurant-type consumption. That goal sounds simple until a bakery, deli, or convenience store sells both categories from the same counter. A loaf of bread can be exempt, while bread served with soup is taxable. Cold cuts sold by weight can be exempt, while the same ingredients assembled into a sandwich are taxable. A refrigerated rotisserie chicken can be exempt after it has been cooled and packaged, while a hot chicken under a heat lamp is taxable. The bagel did not create this logic. It became the symbol because the product can cross several legal lines with almost no visual change. For restaurant sales to go, the official test asks whether unheated food is sold in the same form, condition, quantities, and packaging normally found in a supermarket or grocery store. That phrasing explains why a dozen plain bagels in a bag looks like grocery merchandise, while one toasted bagel with a spread looks like a prepared meal. The categories are administrative shortcuts. They let a cashier classify millions of small transactions without conducting a personal inquiry into when or how each customer will eat. Administrative shortcuts create edge cases. A sealed carton of milk can remain exempt when sold at a drive-thru for off-premises consumption, while the burger beside it is taxable. Put taxable and exempt items into one meal price, and the whole bundle charge can become taxable. The rules are not measuring nutrition or culinary complexity. They are using observable features of the sale to approximate the boundary between groceries and restaurant service. For a shop, the difficult part is not the few cents on one order. It is configuring products, training staff, preserving records, and applying the same classification across thousands of combinations. Toasting, spreads, seating, bundles, and packaging can change the tax treatment. A point-of-sale menu that treats every bagel identically may undercollect or overcollect. The customer sees a receipt line. The business carries the obligation to collect the state's tax correctly and document why the transaction belonged in that category. For a journalist or video maker, the cost of simplification is different. Sayings sliced equals taxed creates a perfect hook and a false rule. The primary guidance is both stranger and more useful. Slicing alone is not the decisive event in the current food store table. Preparation, on-premises consumption, and the grocery-like form of the sale do the real work. A good explanation keeps the surprise while correcting the myth. Imagine 4 orders, a dozen plain bagels to go. The bulletin's own example says exempt. 1 plain bagel, sliced and bad to go. The food store table says slicing does not by itself remove the exemption when sold by quantity. 1 plain bagel eaten at the shop's table, taxable because of on-premises consumption. 1 toasted bagel with cream cheese to go, taxable because it is prepared restaurant-type food. The bread can be nearly identical while the sale is legally different. Tax bulletins are simplified guidance, not a substitute for the statutes and regulations, and the department warns that later legal changes can affect them. That caveat belongs in a serious documentary because rules can change and individual facts can matter. As of the current official guidance, however, the conclusion is clear enough to retire the viral claim. New York does not impose a universal tax merely because a bagel is sliced. It taxes restaurant-type conditions surrounding the bagel, and a knife is only one possible clue in a much larger test. The department's table becomes easier to understand when several rows are placed beside the bagel. Bread sold by the loaf, whole or sliced, is exempt, while bread served with soup is taxable. Cold cuts, sliced and sold by weight, are exempt, while the same cold cuts arranged as a platter are taxable. Pizza sold frozen or refrigerated and unheated is exempt, while heated pizza is taxable. The state is repeatedly classifying the sale, not punishing a particular kitchen tool. The hot and cold distinction can look just as arbitrary as the bagel myth. A chicken roasted by a food store can be cooled, packaged, and sold from a refrigerated case without tax under the example, while the same kind of chicken sold hot is taxable. Temperature is observable at the moment of sale, so it becomes an administrative boundary. That boundary may not track nutrition or effort perfectly. It gives auditors and cashiers a feature they can actually record. Sandwiches receive an especially broad rule. They are generally taxable whether heated or unheated. Buying bologna, cheese, and bread separately at a grocery store can be exempt. Buying them assembled as a sandwich is taxable. A cream cheese bagel can fall into this prepared food logic even when it is cold. Once again, the tax follows the form of the retail transaction rather than the ingredient list alone. The state taxes preparation, place of consumption, packaging, and restaurant-type sales is accurate but hard to repeat. The knife creates a tax is visual, surprising, and only 6 words. It gives a reporter a perfect before and after image and gives customers a villain they can see behind the counter. The simplification survives because it compresses a classification system into one action, even when the official table explicitly says a sliced bagel sold by quantity can be exempt. This kind of compression is common in stories about regulation. A memorable edge case becomes the rule, the caveats disappear, and later articles cite earlier articles instead of the current agency guidance. The repair is straightforward. Open the primary bulletin. Quote, "The relevant categories in your own words, state the issue date, and preserve the agency's warning that the guidance is general. The result can still be entertaining." It simply stops turning a catchy example into legal advice. A modern point-of-sale system needs more than a button labeled bagel. It may need separate modifiers for toasted, spread added, heated, heat-in, and take-out, plus rules for bundles with coffee or other items. The software then maps those observable choices to a tax category. If the menu design hides the modifiers, the employee may have to remember the rule manually. Consistency becomes a systems problem involving product setup, training, and audit trails. The record-keeping burden explains why tiny legal distinctions can produce large business risk. A shop does not settle the question once. It repeats the classification on every shift. Undercollection can leave the seller owing tax it failed to charge. Overcollection can make customers feel cheated and can create its own compliance problem. A clear product catalog and receipt therefore matter as much as the legal summary posted in a manager's office. For viewers, the operational detail is the real economic story. Exempting groceries is a policy choice meant to treat necessities differently from other purchases. Administering that choice requires boundaries. Every boundary creates products that sit near it, and every near-boundary product creates data, training, and enforcement costs. The few cents on a bagel are visible. The permanent cost of maintaining the classification system is mostly hidden,